And yes, I at least have volume. I had a considerable amount of problem getting here. I couldn't get my event to activate, so I had to reissue it. Good evening. I'm only a mere 12 minutes late, but I'll try to make this short because ain't nobody viewing anyway. Um, 3 or 4 months ago on Google Plus, in Sketchucation, I believe it was, I was involved with a um, series of posts between um, an interior designer and myself about how good the models in the SketchUp are. In their, I'm brain dead. I worked outside too much today. In the warehouse, and she thought they were just wonderful, and I said they suck. And she didn't agree, and I said, if you want to make anything from them, if you want a pretty picture, they're okay. But if you actually want to use them for anything other than just clutter, they're junk. Not all of them. I have some people that have posted on that I know that do really well, really good work. And there are some that are fairly well done. But there's some of them that are just crap. So I'm going to start screen share. I'm going to show some basic information here. This is a website on standard height of bed and mattress from floor. I will zoom this up so you can read it. Okay, first we have typical mattress pocket depths vary from 8 to 18 inches and box springs measure 8 to 12 inches. So we're looking at a minimum of 16 inches on that one. And then the average bed height today is about 25 inches. Okay, I'm going to downsize that. And then I'm going to go to my model that I have loaded here. Oh, there was one other one that I needed. Actually, I think I got the wrong one. Let's look for something else here. Bed sizes. That's the one I wanted, not the bed. So I'll bring that one over here. And I will zoom it up also. No, I won't. There. Bed sizes. Queen, 60 inches by 80 inches. A king is 76 by 80. And we'll call a calculator up here, and we'll just do some $80 divided by 12 should be about 6 feet 8. And then there's a longer one down here. It says California King, which is 84. That's 7 feet. So we're looking basically 5 by 6'6", 6'7", no, 6 feet 8. Sorry about that. Or 72 is 5 feet 4 by the same thing. So I'll downsize this one and bring my. I actually put the dimensions on. So we have a bed that's about, kind of maybe 6 feet 9. That might be okay. And about 6 feet 2 inches wide. Gee, that didn't sound like the right one. So let's go back and look at 60 inches or 76 inches. So here we have somebody that just pulled figures. It's called Puma, a military term. It's called pulled out of my, and you can put whatever A word that you want there. This is a G-rated program so far. And the height is to the top of the frame rail is sort of feet 1.5 inches. You get arguing with yourself on whether this is part of the bed or part of the mattress. So we need one more dimension. Go from here to there. 1'3". G. We go back to the bed sizes. Eight and 8 is 16. That's 1'4". I think we have problems, sports fans. He didn't know what he was doing because that's not deep enough to support a bed. So, we'll look at this for a little while more, and I'll show you some of the bogus things on it. For one thing, I really don't like his background. Oh, and for another thing, look where the origin of the model is. Look where this bozo put the geometry. Way away from it. That is unexcusable. Now, let's look at the style of this thing. I think it looks like late Spanish Inquisition. I personally think the style is fairly ugly, but that's only my preference. Let's look at how he's got his view line weight set up. See how heavy these lines are? Let's go in and see if we can fix that, because that's just really, really, really annoying. If I can remember how to do this. Is it under view, edge style? Yes, it is. Let's turn off profiles. Now it's not so obnoxious. We can kind of see what's there. And we can kind of see where he's just got holes. Okay. So we have a big posty bed that's got to have overall dimensions and everything's changed. And you can see that he has 2 components. And they're both pillows. We don't really need that if we're going to try to make it. Now, let's info this. With a click on the face, right mouse button 3, I'm sorry, and then the flyout pops up, and it just says it's on layer 0 and it's big. Okay, that doesn't help me anything. Let's get rid of it. Delete. Oh my! Oh my! You might say, what has the boy done? Since we really don't want any sheets, let's get rid of the rest of this green stuff. Okay, there's a bunch of line work here. We have, well, let's see what we've got here. I'm just going to hide this because I may have to put it back in. Lo and behold, I don't know what that is. Let's hide this one. And we finally get over to this surface, which is kind of the sheets and stuff, but it's not really the sheets because that was actually part of the bed. So let's Control Z that. Okay, I want to get rid of the green one, so maybe that's right. Okay, now I have light blue and wood tone on that side. Let's see what this is. It's another overlaid surface. We're finding a lot of junk here. Oh, so let's get rid of that one too. Oh! Control Z. I think the wrong one went away. Well, I would like to keep that brown in there. There. You just have to call up Entity Info and the brown stays. So we have something that looks kind of like a... Let's grab this stuff. And this. This. We'll grab the top one. I didn't want that line, but I can't seem to get that face. There. And we'll go over to try to get the other whatever thing that is. Now let's just move this I guess we won't move it. I guess we can copy it. Now we have kind of a decorative panel here with apparently more than one face on. Oh, I know what he did. Since he had no components, he only added color to the skin, but only one side of the skin. So we have light blue and wood tone. Now, since we have this, and I goofed up, let's go back. Let's redo that again because I forgot to tell myself how to copy it. And if I did tell myself, I wasn't paying attention. Sometimes analyzing other people's models is really more torture than it's work. And keeping the torture in line, in theme with the 20 inches, in theme with the Spanish Inquisition comment, because this whole thing is torture. Now, we have some sort of geometry out here. Let's find out how thick it is. Dimension from there to there, 3/4. Well, that's not too shabby. At least at the wood dimension. So, we have this. Let's go back into here and delete that face frame. And we'll select that. And then I'll go back and do it slowly. Mouse button 1, mouse button 3, select from the flyout, all connected. And I don't have a clue why that's connected, but I'm going to get rid of it anyway. Something idiotic is going on here. So it's gone. I have no idea why thought it was connected to everything else. And then here you can go in and look closely, and his joints don't line up. So let's get a dimension on this. By the time I get close enough to get the dimension, it disappears. It's not going to let me. So what I'll do is I will get that surface. That's why it's not getting it, it's because it's the wrong surface. And I will try to copy that out 1 inch. I don't know where it went. Very strange. Control Z. Let's try that again. Okay, that button from here this way 1 inch. What units are we dealing with? We're dealing in the right units. My copy is not going anywhere. Let's try copying this one out along the red. Okay, let's do it 5 inches. There. Now let's hide this one. Hide, not erase. And get a dimension. See if we can actually get an honest dimension here. From there to there. And that says 4 inches exactly. which I'm wondering why I'm seeing gaps and double lines. I don't know. Something is done wrong that even I can't figure out. But everywhere you see these white streaks, try to zoom it in so it actually gets them right there. That white streak and that white streak means the two edges are not completely closed. Okay. Now to try to figure out what I really wanted to have going on here. Because we have to close this member off somehow. Well, the easiest way to do it is just go ahead and we'll at least copy this over so that we have oh yeah, something this might be what's going on. He's also got perspective turned off. Always turn perspective off. Printing on SketchUp is hard enough. It's impossible with perspective on. So I'll go and create a line and go ahead and check my hotkeys to find out how I make lines. Because it's already been posted. I'm not going to repeat everything we've ever done. There, I have 4 surfaces plugged in. But you'll notice that this is really stupid. Are you going to cut this out of a big piece of plywood and just throw the insides away? I wouldn't. I would make it some sort of a rail and style affair, which just adds another layer of complexity to here. Even if we just want to do it mitered, we need at least 2 components. We need one for the top, one for the bottom, so that's one for the front, one for the back. So this, you can see that this is pretty well boogered up already. We also have no center panel, so I'm just going to grab this one and drag it out and see what it looks like. I won't drag it out, I'll copy it up. I'll do that 20 inches also. And I will move this now over into my new geometry. Ain't that sketchy? The 2 sets of components are not the same size. Let's go with a fit all here. This little icon, zoom extents, that'll get everything back in line. So, let's take a couple of dimensions here. We'll take, at your dimension icon, we'll take this one, 3 feet 1 7/16 inches, and this one is 3 feet 1 3/4. That's most intriguing. 11 3/8, 11 1/16. I don't know about you, but if one of my employees did something this stupid, that would be the last time he'd be an employee. That's just, this whole thing is just asinine, and this is what you have to be careful of when you go take other stuff from people that don't have a clue on what they're doing. Open corners, unclosed surfaces, edges, and things that just don't have common dimensions. So let's try one of his pedestals. And I'm not saying anything because you can just watch me sitting here clicking things, so I don't really have to tell you when I'm clicking because you can see I'm clicking. Okay, now we're going to copy this out this way, 20 inches again. Well, I can see certain things wrong. He's got no guts. All right, nothing holding this thing together down there except for this bottom plate. I'm just going to delete that, and you can see the whole top column is just kind of invisible. Nada. And same thing with the top. Nothing there. So to get this all figured out and straightened out, you would have to first figure out if this surface is supposed to be the outside surface here, or if it's supposed to be an inside surface here. And how you would actually want to construct this tear effect. So, since I'm not a good enough woodworker to tell you how to do it, I ain't gonna. But it is a mess. I would say everything, this would be, I don't know, I can't even guess, but it can't be done this way. That edge would have to be over here a little bit so it could glue or screw or something to this face. This one would have to be over this way someplace so it could do the same thing. And they would all have to have thickness. So are you going to make this thicker and then this thicker out to here? We can try it. Go down to this tool, which they disgustingly call push-pull. It's extrude. And that says 1/4 of an inch. We'll keep it at that. No, we won't, because we didn't want it. Let's do 3/8. I don't think 3/4 or 1/4 inch is going to be good enough there anyway. Do the same thing on this one. And do the same thing on this one. Although this one probably should be 3/4. Wow! That's not going to pull. Interesting. Okay, so let's copy it. 3/4. Or no, 3/8. Let's undo that because it looks like it did not go parallel. Okay, so we have this, and this, and this. For grins and giggles, let's make this a group and not a component right now. There. Now I can toggle it on and off. I can hide it and pull it back to see what I've got. Whoops. Go away, thing. There. So on this thing, I will admit that I have no clue how he would want to do it. Good woodworkers, if you want to send me messages and give me clues and I'll post them, great. If you don't, that's okay with me. But it would help other woodworkers, and it help me too, quite frankly, if they could look at this thing and comprehend what this person was trying to attempt with this junk. Dimensions are not the same. Sheet solids, it looked like it's supposed to be stacked in, but then you get to the point where, okay, if it's stacked what goes where. Um, this part in itself is not tall enough. This stuff is actually not even part of the bed. It's just an inside surface of something. So there you have it. Complete junk. I don't like this. I thought this would be a little easier to fix. I knew it was bad. I looked at this before and just thought it was a travesty. And it is. So I'm going to reopen this up again. Yeah, let's restart the saved one. Okay, didn't want to go to the saved one, wanted to go to the original one. So what you have here is a lot of information that doesn't tell you anything. If you want to put this in a room so it shows you have a bed there that may not be the right size, you can do that. But if you actually want to use this for anything, it's kind of screwed. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that will cut it perspective. What I say is interesting. Look at the offset here on the posts. Of course, we also have a gap right here where the in panel doesn't even connect. Let me go back into camera and turn. Okay, it's still on parallel, so that's not it. The footboard is narrower than the headboard. That might be classified as brilliant. Not by me, but by somebody it might be. Okay, let's go get another dimension. Dimension and hide and unhide are your friends on this program. Okay, 7 feet 4 and 3/16. Well, that doesn't tell me anything because I'm trying to remember. Finials, I think is what that's called. They might not even be the same size. Anyway. Unbelievable. But this is the kind of stuff you get off of the warehouse. Which now, if you get this stuff and use it, and they find you using it, they will charge you to upgrade to Pro. So my advice is kind of avoid the warehouse and stick with SketchUp 8 free. It will do most everything a typical woodworker wants. Like you can take here, this face and copy it out. And then you can change its dimension as you need to see fit. 2 inches. Nice. Oops. Get back here. I hit enter. There. So that's kind of a nice blocky footboard. You'd have to put panels in here. You'd have to put a little panel or some sort of filigree wrought iron or something in here, rather than just having it kind of open so you can stick your foot out and get locked in when you're in the middle of the night. You can do all sorts of things like this. And then if you want a panel in here, if you want it 3/8, you can go into the rectangle tool. Go from here. No, not yet. Make this a component now. Even though it's a bad component, make it a component. It will make your life a lot. Whoops. Replace component with. Why did it not highlight? Always check that, because if I didn't do that, that component would disappear. And you get really, really unhappy. Okay, now I don't need to make that active. What I want to do is make a rectangle in here from that corner to this corner, or maybe not. Where is my rectangle going? The only thing I can think of is these things are skewed somehow, even though they were a surface, but now they're not acting like it. Let's go ahead and edit this view again. View, edge style, turn profiles off so we can make sure we're getting one that we want. Let's go back and try rectangle one more time. Very interesting. Let's go and try to make some lines here. That's weird. I put one line in, but it filled. Okay. Control Z, Control Z. That's why. It kept all of this bogus geometry there, even though I made a component. And it shouldn't have, when I extruded it, shouldn't have done that. Okay, so this is getting weirder and weirder. Edit, unhide, all. Well, let's put one more line in there and see if we can get our component back. Surprisingly, no. What this is telling me is that the perimeter of this thing is not square, and the lines were never actually connected. Just something else to run into when you grab somebody else's stuff and say, oh, that's nice, let's see if we can use it. That whole footboard is junk. It would be better just to take a look at it and say, okay, I like that part, that part, that part, and then start creating it from scratch. And that basically is the lesson on what to do with some of these files you get from the warehouse. Hope you enjoyed it. I found it kind of painful. Always be careful when you're using somebody else's stuff. Never give them the credit that you give yourself, because they probably don't deserve it. Those are not even rookie mistakes. Those are just stupid mistakes. Hopefully, if you listen to my classes and you pay attention, you won't make them. If you do, I won't hire you. But then I don't have a business anyway. Good night.